Robotrek. Released in 1994, Robotrek was developed by Quintet and published by Enix as a humorous and more kid-friendly game in relation to their other titles like Actraiser, Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia. It's also basically a predecessor to the Pokemon games in that the main character doesn't actually fight, but he sends, in this case, his robots to do the fighting. Being focused on customization and equipping your robots, the game has quite a different feel to others from its time. Let's see if all this uniqueness and special mechanics lead to something good. The story is simple but interesting enough. You control the son of an inventor who wants to be as good as his father or better. At the same time, an evil organization is causing problems around, and of course they will get in your way. Soon you will find a mysterious stone that is part of a set, and this will start guiding the story due to some mysterious connection between them and the main character. From here on forward, things go a lot farther than what one would initially think, and events happen one after another fast enough to keep things interesting. The game never really becomes funny, but it's certainly like-humored and charming. The characters are simple and are mostly there to keep the story going without much evolution, so don't expect to get too attached to any of them. Sadly, the main problem here is the translation, which in many parts, especially near the end, is just terrible, which makes it difficult to understand what the hell is going on. If we add this to how confusing in general things can get at the end, it's likely that you will finish the game while still wondering what the hell happened. The graphics are clear and colorful, and the variety of settings and enemies is okay. Nothing that will surprise you or to which you will pay much attention to, but good enough. The sound effects are okay too, but the music, especially the battle one, is repetitive and doesn't feel very inspired. It won't make your ears bleed, but might annoy you a bit by the end of the game. Exploration is what one would expect from a traditional RPG. You go from area to area, talking to characters, fighting enemies, that by the way you can see and avoid, and find treasure. What makes the game special is that frequently you will need to use an invention that you have built in order to access new places or solve some kind of problem. Combat is turn-based with some movement around the grid that makes the battlefield. You only use one robot at a time and fight up to 3 enemies. You can do normal or special attacks according to how you equipped and programmed your robot, and use some items or change robots. Although you don't choose which robot to change to, you always start with the first one and change from there in order unless one is dead. Depending on your actions, it will take longer until you have a turn again, which is marked in a bar and changes in speed according to the robot that you are using. Beyond the equipment that you can create or find, robots have 5 stats. Life, strength, defense, speed and charge time. You get 10 points per level, and with the exception of life, the maximum is 99. This seems to imply that you can vary things a lot, but there are some stats that are more useful than others. Having good attack and defense is a priority, cause even if you have a lot of life or a fast charge time, if you have low defense, enemies will one-shot you, and if you don't have good attack, you won't hurt your enemies no matter what weapon you have equipped. In a similar way, if your speed is not high enough for the area, you won't be able to hit the enemies in a regular manner. If to this we add that the limit is 99, we'll find that by mid or late game, the only stat that you will be able to continue increasing is life, therefore making your robots the same except for equipment. Speaking of equipment, we have another big problem with the game, the lack of an explanation on what things do. Most weapons and equipment have special characteristics and hidden abilities difficult to guess. For example, I was using a level 2 sword and found a level 3 one. I equipped it expecting more damage, but I started hitting all enemies for only 1 damage. It turns out that the level 3 had an elemental attack that the enemies in the dungeon where I found it were resistant to. And of course there is no way to know who is resistant to what clearly. These and other things like the knowledge that your first robot is secretly stronger, the second one has more defense and the third one is faster, makes Robotrek into the kind of game where previous research is necessary to enjoy in the best way. Otherwise, you won't take advantage of all the secret characteristics of things and end up equipping your 3 robots with whatever you found worked due to how cryptic other things are. Trying to be too creative can lead enemies to destroy you, which kind of goes against the premise of the game. Luckily, you can save almost anywhere and the game is not that long, between 20 to 30 hours, for the motion of customizing things to totally run out. In the end, all robots may end up being almost the same, but the road there should be interesting enough. A good game with unique ideas that are sadly not taken advantage of in the best way or require external research to be understood. The quality of the translation is certainly a big problem here too. If the translation were better, I would easily give it 1 more point since the experience is charming and fun enough even with its problems. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. You can expect more reviews on RPGs in the future.